I was renting an apartment here from last November to last April, 6 months, and I had a three bedroom place in the address, which was obviously new and nice and expensive. And I'm still working in sterling. I was paying £12,500 a month for a 3 bedroom place there. Came back this time, just needed a 2-bedder just to tide me over while my place was being ready. Rang them up, said, I'll come back, can I have 2 beds? They said, yeah, we'll send you our new price list. I'm thinking, it'll be 10 grand or something. 2 bedrooms, £20,000 a month. Inflation's obviously something that is on the tip of everyone's tongue. It's in every kind of media outlet at the minute. And I guess no matter what country you're living in now, and I guess when we were in England, when we were in America, inflation is something that we probably almost felt immune to in the old days because it was something that happened in those countries over there. But it's something everybody's feeling everywhere. I mean, Can you give me your 5-minute viewpoint on how we've gotten to where we've gotten? Because again, everyone's simple answer is, it's Russia or it's the Ukraine. I mean, how have we gotten to where we've gotten to? And I mean, what is the answer?
Okay, so there's a couple of points to it, but I think my first experience with inflation was when I lived in Brazil in 1996. Brazil had just come out of hyperinflation, where the price of a loaf of bread was adjusted 3 times a day in a supermarket.
3 times a day?
With like the guns with the price before they had barcodes. 3 times a day the price would go up. And when you got paid your salary at the end of the month, your objective, the moment you got paid, was to spend all of it. Because everything was going down in value in front of your eyes.
Were you getting a higher salary month on month, or was your salary always staying the same?
It all depended. Salary was the same. Interest rates in the bank were 140%. So it was an environment where I noticed that everybody became very aware of numbers, calculations, and became very switched on to numbers very quickly. So being in that environment and watching that was like a massive extreme. I understood then what inflation really meant. When you look at inflation now, there's a lot of people out there that want to poo-poo what inflation is. And at the end of the day, it's really simple to understand. If you've got £100 in a bank account, at the end of 12 months, if that bank account's not making any interest, then the spending power of that £100 is less. It's less. It's £93 or £92. But people still see the £100. So they don't go, I've got £92. I've still got £100. It's like, well, you haven't, because it can't buy as much. So what you've got to do is say, what am I going to spend the £100 on? Groceries have gone up by 40 to 50%. Eggs have gone up by 59% in the last 12 months. And people don't pay attention to that. That's how much more money it costs you to buy the things that you were buying a year ago. Interest rates in banks are low. The base rate of interest has gone up and up and up, and it's likely to continue to go up. But the payment they're going to give you on your money at best at the moment is around 4%. So you've got 4% and you've got inflation at 8%, then you've got a 4% differential. And people just want to turn a blind eye to this. But what you have is official figures and then real figures. Okay, official figures are, we've kept inflation to 5 or 6 or 7%. That's just nonsense. Try and book a flight with an airline right now and look at the price it is right now compared to how it was 12 months ago. Airline flights are hugely expensive. Go and rent a car. Go and get a hotel room in Dubai. Did you see on the news yesterday? The average price of a hotel room in Dubai, the average price, bear in mind 1-star to 5-star, is $480 per night.
Is that what it is?
That's the average price. If you go to the Mandarin Oriental, a standard room for one night is 6,000 dirhams.
I mean, I've really noticed, we're going off on a slight tangent, but I've really noticed coming back in October, having not been here since April, that everything feels materially more expensive to me. And I've never really been one to notice, let's say, day-to-day pricing. I go to the supermarket, it costs what it costs. I go to the restaurant, it costs what it costs. But I use a lot of Uber Eats, Deliveroo, that kind of stuff over here. And I feel it's, every meal I get is really noticeable. Like I used to talk about how I've just used Uber. Didn't even notice it was a £3 fare. I mean, there's no £3 Ubers anymore. The £9, £10, £11. And the same with Uber Eats. And then at the other end of the scale, I was renting an apartment here from last November to last April, 6 months. And I had a 3-bedroom place in the address, which was obviously new and nice and expensive. And I'm still working in sterling. I was paying £12,500 a month for a 3-bedroom place there. Came back this time, just needed a 2-bedder just to tide me over while my place was being ready. Rang them up, said, I'll come back, can I have 2 beds? They said, yeah, we'll send you our new price list. I'm thinking, oh, it'll be 10 grand or something. 2 bedrooms, 20,000 quid a month. I mean,
outrageous.
Unbelievable.
Outrageous. When I first moved here 18 years ago, it cost 70 dirhams to fill my Range Rover up. 70 dirhams. Okay, you always had change out of the money. And now it costs me, I don't know, 300 dirhams or 250 dirhams or whatever it is. Everything's gone up. And people are just, they're not understanding it. Now, what has caused inflation? So you can say there's been a problem because Russia have invaded Ukraine. That's not what caused inflation. Has there been a supply chain issue? Yes. Well, that then does a supply and demand issue. That means we can't get stuff. People want stuff, so they put the prices up because there's more demand than there is supply. That's not what causes inflation. What causes inflation is taking the value of a currency and having a government that's allowed to print as much of it as they want. That's how inflation is caused. So when you have something that's valued, the dollar, which was the gold standard once, it's not the gold standard anymore. The government in America is allowed to print as much as they want. The more they print, the more they devalue a currency. Now, you've seen this in Zimbabwe, you've seen this in Nigeria, you've seen this in many countries of Brazil, okay? You see it in Argentina at the moment. You know, in these more developing countries, you see this constant need to print money up because of corrupt officials wanting to take some money out of the pie or whatever it is, debts need to be paid, and the currency then is devalued. That's what you have with inflation. You have a devalue. The money is worth less. And so the cost of that has to go up. The interest rates have to go up to try and bring more value to it, because if there's no interest being paid on pounds, who wants to buy pounds? But if there's 10% interest being paid on pounds, who wants to buy pounds? Lots of people do. And so that's why they do it. And so for me, when you look at inflation, it's important to take a really, really deep understanding of it and how it impacts your life. You've noticed it. Everybody else, funnily enough, notices it. Everyone says, you know what, going to the cinema costs more money now. Or, going to the supermarket, I used to pay 1,000 dirhams a week. Now I'm paying 1,500 dirhams a week. Oh, you know what, when I fill up with petrol, like I just did, well, when I go to the mall of the Emirates, everyone says that very flippantly. But yet they still leave their money in a bank account at 2%. And it's like, why would you do that?
So how do we reverse it in real terms? I mean, if it's, I don't want to oversimplify it because I guess it's not simple, but if it's as simple as the fact that governments printing money is what causes inflation, how do we reverse it?
You don't. The man on the street doesn't. What the man on the street has to do is to find a way to get more income from his money than inflation. So if inflation is at 7%, let's say, how can I get more than 7% on my money? Leaving it in the bank's not going to do that. Okay, I've got to essentially invest it. And so what do I invest it in that can give me a yield that's bigger than 7% yield? So let's say it's 10%, so I can net down a 3% gain. That's how I, as an individual, fight inflation.
Okay, but then how can a government, or if society wants to either reverse inflation or improve inflation, how can that happen?
Or what governments do is they put interest rates up. By putting interest rates up, that means that their currency becomes more attractive. Okay, becoming more attractive means more people buy that currency. More people buy that currency, that then slows inflation down. That's what has to happen. And that's why interest rates are going up. Governments need people to buy the dollar, the pound, the euro, whatever it is.